Welcome to the Grow Your Practice podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Chad Madden, owner of Madden Physical Therapy and Breakthrough. Join me each week as we dive into the best practices, systems, principles, tips, and tricks to help you grow your private practice.
Increase profits in 2024 with this secret weapon. There's not a lot of time left in the year. Have you started thinking about your annual practice plan? There's one thing you need to do first before you get started. Most owners don't take the time to do this, and as a result, miss out on thousands of dollars in profit, if not more. Want to create an annual plan that results in more profitability? Then you need to do a profit plan. In this special episode, I introduce the free profit planner for forecasting profits. To see the full video and get your copy of the profit planner, go to getbreakthrough.com/profit now. It's PROFITNOW. No space, no underscore. Getbreakthrough.com/profit now. You don't have to settle for pitiful profits. Owners like Verelle, Peg, and Jeff have used the profit planner to gain visibility into their finances and forecast profits. In their own words, we would have been out of business by January. It saved my clinic. To get the profit planner and watch the complete video showing you how to use it, go to getbreakthrough.com/profit now. We're going to cover how to plan for profits. I'm really excited for you. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you realize that we have a new program that we're launching here in the next week or so called Profitability Under Pressure. We'll get there in 1 second. Just from talking with owners, lots of excitement around the idea that we don't have to rely on insurance companies or the government to dictate our value to us. We can actually go through in our own practices and take control over some variables that are going to improve our profit margins, allow us to keep our doors open and serve more people with physical therapy. We're very excited, pumped for the future that we can create here. The problem, what I did was I went back to cms.gov, looked at the conversion factor on the physician fee schedule for the last 30 plus years or so. You can see here since 1994. From 1994 to 2023, there was a 43 cent, that's not 43%, that's 43 cent increase in the conversion factor. Pretty anemic. When we pair this up with inflation, even more alarming is that right now there is on the table a proposal for another decrease. And that decrease is for $2.37 less here in 2024. This is putting practice owners in a lot of hot water, a lot of trouble. If we look at that with inflation, what has happened, because in the conversion factor, legally, there can be no adjustment for inflation. The physician fee schedule, when we take a look at this, the power of the dollar, purchasing power, has decreased dramatically. If we go back to 1994 and compare it to where we are today in 2023, the value of the dollar is less than half. The actual decrease is 52%. What we have here is downward pressure on our revenue and upward pressure on our cost to provide care. The end result is that we have shrinking or razor-thin profit margins. This is a big problem. A visit today is literally worth less than half of what it was compared to 30 years ago. When we have the combination of a flat physician fee schedule and conversion factor, and we're working against inflation combined, there's a lot going on against us. The average practice today is below 10% in profit margin. There are a few different sources for this. One is the information that Bob Kowalik has put out with RCS, where in 2018 we were at 14.6%. Today we're hovering just under 10% in profitability. Next thing we want to take a look at is success with the profit planner. This first story is one of my favorite of all time, Joe and Kathy Scarpito. When we started working with Joe and Kathy, they had a valuation done on their practice. They were planning on selling in, I believe, 2 or 3 years. The valuation wasn't quite where they wanted it to be. They had a dream to retire to a beach house, become full-time grandparents, and be highly involved with their growing family. I think they have 4 children and a growing number of grandchildren. The valuation wasn't where they wanted it to be. Just like you and I, they've had decades, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their practice, and being told that it's not as valuable as what you want it to be can be quite devastating. We started working through together here at Breakthrough, and after just 10 months, they went and had another valuation done, and this one they followed through on, and their offer on their practice had doubled. Now, Joe and Kathy have the time and financial freedom And I also want to recognize that they put in a ton of work here. They were amazing students. They implemented very well. And I want to make sure that you recognize and acknowledge that for the work that they put in. They created a plan for profitability, which is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you here in a second. Their primary focus was to maximize utilization of their existing schedules and their existing space. When they did that, they became significantly more profitable, doubled the value of the offer, which they ended up taking on their practice. Did an interview here with Joe and Kathy a year or two ago. You might have seen it. Kathy, I believe, is not only taking a lot of time with her family, posting a lot, she's also doing Reiki, and I believe Joe took up playing the guitar. They're highly involved with their family. They have the time and financial freedom to do so, and they earned that by looking for and applying exactly what we're going to be sharing with you here in just a second. Joe and Kathy were an established practice. We take a look at the next practice here. Tony and Melissa Sear are what I would call a growing practice owner, and even today they're still growing. Tony and Melissa began with us a few years ago in 2016. Their revenue that year was $946,000. In 2 years, they more than doubled their practice to $1.8 million. I remember talking with Tony and Melissa at that time. They had an awesome team in place, but they also had quite a few growing pains. They worked through that, even through the pandemic, and added another $1 million in revenue here last year and just opened up their second clinic. The things that they focused on in growing their clinic, in addition to the profit planner, were growing their utilization, maximizing their utilization of schedules and space. They've added cash-based services, and you may have heard or may have seen that Tony did an amazing job in renegotiating his contract rates and was able to, with multiple payers, get an average increase in reimbursement of 12%. Tony and Melissa, they're awesome owners. They have a great team in place at Kinetics PT in Gainesville, Florida, and they're even willing to share what they put together in renegotiating contracts. You probably have been the benefit of them if you've downloaded any of the templates or anything along those lines that we've offered here at Breakthrough. You can see they really put in the work. They more than tripled the revenue of their practice, and they're continuing to grow right now. Finally, here we have Deepak, another one of my favorite stories of all time. Deepak started with us, and this is very unique in his experience with us, how he started here at Breakthrough, because he did it even before he opened his own clinic. So he started learning how to grow a practice even before he opened his doors. The other thing that's unique about Deepak is he's in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The average plan of care there is $400. That's not average visit, that's average plan of care. The cost of his square footage, his space, is extremely high. When he opened up his clinic in 2018, he was in 1,700 square feet. And to date, he generates over $1 million a year in revenue in that space, and he consistently generates up to 24% in terms of profit margins. So very unique situation, significantly more pressure than what you and I face here in the US, and he's still able to apply the principles and grow. Was just talking with him a week or two ago, and he continues to have plans to grow and expand and open a second location here in the next year or two. So if you were established, you can look at Joe and Kathy's story. If you're growing and you're looking to continue to leave a bigger impact in your area, hire more team members and open more clinics, you can follow in the footsteps of Sean and Tony and Melissa and see what they've done in terms of pulling the profit levers. If you're a brand new practice like Deepak and your next step is building $1 million practice and filling up the space and schedules that you currently have in a brand new practice or a relatively new practice, less than 5 years, you can follow exactly what Deepak did. I know he also shared that he's received several acquisition offers for 6x times his EBITDA. It's fairly significant in a short period of time, and it's amazing to consider that he did that in less than 5 years from scratch. So the one thing that we love about Deepak is when other owners have asked him, what's the secret sauce? What are you doing that's special? He just continuously says, I just did exactly what they told me to do. And he means breakthrough in that situation. Whatever breakthrough said, I did that and it worked. Pretty cool story here from Deepak for you if you're a brand new owner. I'm going to exit here and go to the profit planner next. What you're going to do when you get this form, you'll get a QR code or we'll give you a link. Come in, click File, make a copy. You're going to go to your own copy so that you can go in and edit and apply whatever numbers are unique to your situation for your practice. Now, I want to walk you through this. There are 4 tabs here at the bottom. First thing you should notice is the baseline, which is what we're talking about when we're looking at pulling profit lever number 1, maximizing utilization of space and schedules. The second tab down here is adding a cash-based service. I'll show you how that works here in a second. The third is no slow season. In the Northeast here, most of us have a slow season from Thanksgiving through the end of the year, maybe also when school lets out. And then the final tab here is on adjusting your payer mix with either dropping a low payer, attracting more of a high payer, or renegotiating rates. The idea of this sheet is that once you have it, you can start planning ahead, see which levers that you should be pulling and the effects that those levers are going to have on your practice. You can know ahead of time. You can hedge your bet. You can hedge your efforts, the focus of your time, money, and resources that your clinic has, so you're not wasting your time taking on a major initiative that barely moves the needle. All right, so that is the profit planner. It's extremely helpful for you in not only looking where you're at today, but also thinking forward for your practice, how you're going to bounce out on the other end of this, and actually take action here. The boiling pot of water that we're in with decreasing profitability, how you can take action and escape the situation. See the full video and get your copy of the Profit Planner, go to getbreakthrough.com/profit now. It's PROFITNOW. No space, no underscore. Getbreakthrough.com/profit now.